Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Terrence here, and I got another posing tutorial for you guys today. And today we're going to be going over the relaxed poses. I went over what I normally see people doing wrong and, you know, a way to correct that. Just one way out of many of hitting the poses correctly. Hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, here's the video. Alright guys, so the first pose I want to cover is the front relaxed pose. This is me hitting it incorrectly. One thing I normally see people doing in this pose is having their arms far too high. It just looks awkward, honestly. When it comes to posing, you're going to hear me say this a lot of times. It's all about flow, symmetry, and the lines that you present. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you see them, you know what's done correctly and incorrectly, it'll be easier for you to understand what I mean. The next portion I see people do incorrectly a lot of times is they crush down on their abs, and for the majority of us, this will only thicken our waist up way too wide and throw off our symmetry. Alright guys, so this is me hitting it with a vacuum. As you can see, the arms are a lot lower, and they're actually following the lines of my lats to give a better taper and bring attention to that portion of my body. I hit the vacuum because it honestly makes most people's waists look, you know, non-existent in a sense. Other than that, normal things that you want to make sure you're doing in the pose are keeping your shoulders level. You also want to make sure your feet are at a V. And the reason for this is because it actually makes your legs look bigger than what they actually are, than having them straight forward. They thicken up the inner thigh a bit, and also allow you to display that quad sweep a lot more. Alright guys, here's the second pose often done incorrectly in my opinion. First thing you see is the shoulder blades. Personally, I like to have my shoulder blades level. It makes the person look wider. And there's a myth that talks about that since the judges are lower, you need to angle your body so they can see it straight. But if you really think about it, 90% of the poses we don't do that. If that was the case, we would do it in, you know, the front lat spread, the front double bicep, and things of that nature, but we don't. And the judges see us just fine. So I would suggest you fix that, level those shoulders out a bit. Also, I normally see people bending their legs a lot, and I think this is because they're trying to display their hamstrings a bit more, but it also throws off your symmetry and throws off the clean look that you could have otherwise. One more thing I normally see people do is they have their arms too far away from their bodies. And the thing is, when you're posing, a lot of times you want to decrease the amount of empty space between, you know, your limbs and your body to a certain extent. As you can see here, it just looks weird when your arms are too far away from your body. And this will, once we cover the future, you know, poses like side tricep, side chest, these same principles will apply. As you see here, this is how I normally hit the pose. Looking straight ahead, shoulder blades level, arms matching the curve of my lat spread, my lats. Legs are pretty much straight. The back leg is pushed up against the front leg. And this is how you will normally see me hit this pose. Lastly, we're going to talk about the rear relaxed pose. Here you can see that the main two things with this pose I see people doing correctly is that they usually keep their legs straight up and down. But what I want to see is a little bit of bend in that knee area, not a ton, because if you bend over too much, then it'll start to cast shadows over your thighs, but enough to actually get a contraction out of your hamstrings. Also, you can be a little bit on the balls of your feet to add to the your calf appearances. And then lastly, lower those arms just a tad, and also you want to really flex the glutes and the lower back as well. Okay, as you can see here, I've implemented a lot of those things I just told you guys about. I bent the knees a bit to flex the hamstrings. I'm on the balls of my feet, so my calves are popping a little bit more. And I lowered the arms just a tad to get rid of that motorcycle look. Alright guys, that is my little tip for the day. I hope you guys liked it.